A young commander stood at the edge of the world, gazing toward the horizon's promise of glory.
He sought to unite the warring provinces under a single, unbreakable banner of absolute imperial order.
This journey began in the capital, where gold and marble masked the growing unrest of the people.
To prove his words, the leader marched his legions into the treacherous valleys of the Far East.
There, the terrain proved as hostile as the enemies hiding within the dense and dark forests.
Initial skirmishes tested his resolve, yet he refused to retreat from the brutal and bloody front lines.
The commander eventually captured a strategic fortress, marking the first major success of his ambitious campaign.
This victory brought him fame, but it also attracted the envy of powerful rivals back home.
One particular general felt threatened by his rising influence and began plotting a secret, deadly downfall.
News of this betrayal reached the camp, forcing the young man to make a difficult choice.
Instead of returning to face the Senate, he chose to push deeper into unexplored, dangerous territories. The army faced starving winters and scorching summers, their spirits slowly beginning to fracture and fade. Despite the hardship, he maintained a disciplined grip on his weary and battle-hardened soldiers.
They eventually reached the Great River, a natural barrier that no previous conqueror had ever crossed.
On the opposite bank, a massive host awaited them, led by a king of legendary strength. The ensuing battle was the bloodiest in history, painting the cold waters red with the fallen.
Against all odds, the Legion broke through the lines, securing a miraculous but very costly win.
However, the price of glory was height, as thousands of his closest friends lay silent forever. The commander's heart hardened, and he became obsessed with total dominance over every surviving soul.
He demanded absolute loyalty, punishing any sign of hesitation with swift and merciless imperial judgment.
Soon, even his most trusted advisors began to fear the man they had once admired.
A secret coalition formed among his officers, determined to end the cycle of endless, pointless warfare.
They lured him to a private meeting, claiming a new challenger had emerged to fight him.
You want to fight? Let's go!
He challenged, drawing his blade as the ambush finally closed in.
The duel was swift, leaving the once great leader bleeding alone on the cold, stone floor.
In that moment of defeat, the weight of his many sins finally crashed down upon him.
He looked at the faces of his soldiers, seeing only the reflection of his own cruelty.
The rebellion succeeded, but the empire was left fractured and mourning its lost, golden age.
Years later, the aging warrior lived in quiet exile, far from the throne he once coveted.
He spent his remaining days wandering the ruins of the cities he had once burned down. Every shadow seemed to hold the ghosts of those he had sacrificed for his own pride.
The world had moved on, building a new peace from the wreckage of his shattered dreams.
One evening, he stood before the memorial of his greatest rival, bowed by a heavy regret.
"I'm sorry," he whispered into the wind, finally acknowledging the immense pain his ambition had caused. His words were lost to time, but the lesson of his hubris remained etched in history.
Thus, the story ends, a cautionary tale of a man who gained the world but lost himself.